Sagittarius, from May 28th to May 30th, you will face your final spiritual test. There are 3 traps, each one subtle, sacred, and dangerous, that you must avoid before June begins. Fail to do so, and you may repeat the very karma you've spent lifetimes trying to outgrow. If you are Sagittarius, and you're still hearing these words, know this is no longer a coincidence. This isn't just another random scroll through thousands of videos. This is not a vague prediction. This is a signal. A secret imprint. A call from the unseen realm, written not by hand but by energy. A portal is opening, and your name is written right at its threshold. From May 28th to May 30th, time will no longer flow as usual. Energy will not scatter the way you've grown used to. Everything, even in silence, will shift. And you, Sagittarius, are not a bystander. You are the epicenter. You are the convergence point of the 3 greatest challenges a soul must face before stepping into June, a moment where destiny itself will split permanently. In an ancient, rarely disclosed prophecy, Baba Vanga once left behind a riddle-like warning: there will be 3 nights when fire is tested by its own shadow. The one who carries the arrow shall not be allowed to shoot outward, but must turn the arrow inward. And if you are Sagittarius, the symbol of fire, of the arrow, of unyielding desire to fly far, then that message was written for you. No more detours. No more hiding. Your soul is being summoned, not to complete another cycle, but to choose again. Astrology reveals that Jupiter, your ruling planet, is moving through a rare convergence with the waning moon and the karmic axis of Chiron. This is a time when every comfortable belief will be challenged, every noble ideal overturned, and what you once called truth may be nothing more than a thin coat of paint over a very deep fear. But don't be afraid. As the Buddha taught, only when we see the darkness within the mind can we truly know that the light inside is real. Sagittarius, you were not born to live small. You were not born to stay silent inside safe relationships. You were not born to keep repeating a version of yourself that others find easier to accept. You were born to touch the truth, even when that truth costs you the things you once thought mattered most. And these 3 days? They are not here to break you. They are here to liberate you. To make you stop dreaming a dream that no longer fits. To help you release burdens that were never yours to carry. To let you, maybe for the first time in a long while, walk with clarity in your eyes, steadiness in your heart, and light resting in the palm of your hand. But because of this, 3 spiritual traps will be placed before you. They will be subtle, clever, and disguised as love, freedom, and inner voice. And if you are not fully awake, you will fall. You will find yourself back in the same cycle, learning the same lesson, dragging the same karma. Not because you are unworthy, but because you have not yet dared to claim what you are worthy of. And if you've read this far, do the first thing to mark this journey of transformation: comment below the words, "I choose my evolution." That phrase is not just for the universe, it is for the future version of you. So that when you look back, you'll remember, I already began. I already chose. I am not going back. If your soul is trembling, if these words are tapping on the door you've kept quietly closed for too long, then don't let this message be just another message. Click like if you're ready to leave your old self behind. Subscribe if you wish to keep receiving messages from the universe. Share this video as an act of merit, because someone you love may be standing before the same invisible traps you've just seen for yourself. No soul is born to repeat forever. Only those who choose awakening have the courage to step into the light. Sagittarius, this is not the time to compromise. Not the time to hesitate. This is the moment to draw your arrow, not to shoot outward, but to pierce through the final layer of shadow still clinging to your heart. 3 days. 3 challenges. 1 gate. And you, the one standing before it, must decide, is this just another loop, or is this your first real breakthrough? If you're Sagittarius and you're feeling like something inside you is shifting, but you can't quite name it yet, if you suddenly find yourself having strange dreams, hearing conversations repeat with familiar tones, or noticing that even small decisions carry an unusual weight, then please, don't rush to explain it with logic. Because Sagittarius, you're no longer living in linear time. From May 28th to May 30th, you are stepping into what astrology calls a karmic intersection, and what Buddhist philosophy describes as the threshold of the middle way, a space where even the tiniest choice can lead either to breakthrough or to repetition. In astrology, this moment is marked by Jupiter, your ruling planet, moving away from a zone of comfort and entering the energetic cross point between Chiron and the dark moon. It's a movement that may appear subtle on a star chart, but in the energy realm, it rings like a bell, awakening a dream your soul has been dreaming for lifetimes. Because when Jupiter is tested, so too is every ideal you've clung to, every promise of freedom you've made, and every truth you've believed in. The beliefs you once stood on may begin to tremble. The relationships you thought were written in destiny may begin to crack, without warning and without explanation. But the deepest shift of all happens within. You begin to question yourself. Not because you are wrong, but because the universe is inviting you to see more deeply, more truthfully, and more precisely into who you thought you were. The Buddha once said something simple yet piercing: when we begin to doubt ourselves, it is not because we are weak, but because the soul is about to shed its old skin. This is the silent breaking point, where one part of you fractures so that another part may finally be born. And yes, the pain is real. The confusion is real. The disorientation is real. And the universe remains silent, not because it doesn't hear you, but because that silence is its most sacred invitation. Have you become quiet enough to hear your truest voice yet? Sagittarius, you are the only zodiac sign whose symbol points upward. You were born with the blood of explorers, pilgrims who belong to no fixed land. You carry fire, but not the kind that consumes. You carry soul fire, the kind of light that not only guides yourself, but also those who have lost their way. But in order to keep that flame pure, you must remember one sacred truth: do not allow old stories, old faces, old emotions, and old voices to reclaim the light of your present moment. And that is why, from May 28th to May 30th, you will be brought back to the soul's crossroads, back to the place where you once chose wrongly. Not to be punished, but to choose again. Baba Vanga once wrote in an ancient note, there will be a fire sign brought back to the place where they once turned wrong. But this time, they will carry light. And light does not choose the same road again. This prophecy is not just symbolic. It is a compass for the 3 days Sagittarius must walk, a reverse pilgrimage into karmic memory. This time, your arrow does not point forward. It turns inward, deep into your own wounds. Not to soothe, but to sever. Not to ask again, but to stop asking. Not to forgive others, but to stop keeping yourself in the waiting room of their validation. And if you're beginning to feel something heating in your chest, something strange, something familiar, something burning and trembling all at once, that is your light. That is your true fire rising from the ashes of old disappointments. But that light only fully ignites when you choose to act, not outwardly, but with crystal clarity in each thought, each word, each emotion. Sagittarius, you cannot hold on with one hand to the past while reaching for the future with the other. To let the light enter, you must release. And release does not mean abandonment. It means surrendering resistance to the truth that everything is already changing. If you've come this far, then I invite you to mark this moment with one simple, sacred action. Comment below the words, "I trust my spiritual fire." That comment is not for the algorithm. It is for your soul, so that whenever you return, you'll remember, I planted my fire here. I chose to continue. I am not going back. And if this message is helping you find your way back to yourself, please click like, subscribe to the channel, and share it as a sacred offering. Because one timely share could save another Sagittarius from spiraling once more into the karmic cycle you are now breaking. In Buddhism, there is a concept called fearlessness, the state of transcending all fear to live in alignment with your true nature. And I believe that if any sign was born to live in fearlessness, it is Sagittarius. You were not born to be understood. You were born to discover. And now, as Jupiter touches the point of destiny realignment, you are no longer the one standing outside the cosmos. You are the one holding the map. So the question is, will you keep following the old map, or will you burn it and trust the voice rising from deep within your chest? Sagittarius, listen closely. The shaking has begun. And only you, the one holding the arrow, can choose where it lands this time. The first soul trap of Sagittarius is the familiar face of karma, the past returning in a new disguise. There will be a moment between May 28th and May 30th when your phone lights up. It won't be entirely unexpected, but it will arrive with a feeling that is deeply familiar, a message, a casual check-in, a name or a glance reappearing on social media. And your heart, though you've told yourself it's all in the past, still skips a beat. It's not quite love. It's not exactly regret. It's an unfinished connection. And that connection is the first trap the universe sets for Sagittarius. The return of someone from the past, the one who once made you bend away from yourself, is coming back. But this time, they won't arrive with the same obvious wounds. They come wrapped in the cloak of someone who's changed, speaking the very words you once longed to hear. I know I was wrong. If only you'd understood me better. We still have a chance, don't we? And you, Sagittarius, with your generous heart, your quick forgiveness, and your natural belief in the light within people, can be easily moved. But that is when karma calls your name. Because karma doesn't return with visible scars. Karma returns as an opportunity that looks almost like the thing you once prayed for, but at the wrong time. Astrologically, when Jupiter, your ruling planet, returns to energetic points it once touched in a previous cycle, the past gets reactivated like a chain reaction. The relationships that once made you cry, but were never truly closed, open again on their own, not for you to return, but for you to choose again from a version of yourself that is finally awake. In Buddhism, this is called karmic resonance. When a relationship carries unresolved suffering, you will meet that person again, or someone with the same energy, to finally learn the lesson you once skipped. And this is where Baba Vanga's prophecy cuts sharper than ever. She once said, "One who carries the arrow of fire will meet again the one who once burned them, but this time not to be burned, but to learn how to keep the flame for themselves." That person could be an ex-lover, a friend you once trusted, or simply someone who made you dim your light just to be allowed to stay. And if this time you smile again, forgive again, try one more time, it's not because your soul is weak. It's because you still hold on to the hope that maybe, this time, it will be different. But let me whisper this into your soul and into the hearts of those still listening. Not every opportunity should be reopened. Not everyone who returns deserves to stay. And not every sweet word carries light. This is a soul test, and the universe is watching your true energy, not your emotional reaction. If you choose to reopen that old door, what will happen? At first, things may feel calm again. But soon, you will feel yourself slipping back into old patterns. Doubt, insecurity, disorientation, and shrinking yourself to keep someone else around. These are not just emotional setbacks. They are energetic costs. And worse, you won't just lose your energy. You may lose the soul gift the universe is preparing to place in your hands at the start of June. Because light cannot enter a space still flooded with old frequencies. Sagittarius, you were not born to be the background in someone else's story. You are the guide. You are the pilgrim among souls still asleep. You don't need a love that makes you fold inward. You don't need a promise that keeps you waiting. You don't need someone who might be better, but only if you agree to shrink yourself. So if that person returns, look deeper. Don't just hear their words. Listen to the vibration. And if your chest does not feel absolute peace, then please, do not open that door. Don't let karma in out of politeness. Don't throw yourself off your axis of light just because you softened for a second. You've sacrificed too much to become who you are now. Don't give it all back just because of a message that says, "I miss you." And if you've been pulled backward once before, let this be the time you choose differently. Comment right now as a way of cutting the karmic cord. I do not open old doors. I protect my path. And if this message is awakening something deep in your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who may be trapped in a karmic loop, and subscribe as a sacred act, your declaration to the universe. I will not go back. I choose to move forward. I choose myself. Soul trap number 2, the illusion of freedom. This is when Sagittarius thinks they're resting, but in truth, they are running. There is something even more dangerous than an old flame returning. It has no face. It sends no message. It needs no apology. But it always waits quietly for the moment when you are at your most vulnerable. It is the retreat disguised as rest, but in truth, it's a refined form of escape. And that is the second trap Sagittarius must face between May 28th and May 30th, the trap of false freedom. You are Sagittarius. You love freedom more than anything. For you, adventure, new places, and bold ideas untouched by the crowd, these are your lifeblood. But because of that, whenever you feel cornered by life, by expectations, or by unprocessed pain, you disappear. You withdraw into silence. You call it space. You say, "I just need to recharge." But deep down, you know you're running. Between the 28th and the 30th, you may feel an unusual kind of fatigue, not because your body is weak, but because the universe is gathering energy to lift you into a new level. And right before you rise, you'll see the terrifying height that awaits. Instead of stepping up, your instincts may pull you back into your comfort zone, the place where Netflix is already playing, where unread messages are labeled later, where you eat without thinking, sleep off rhythm, and call all of that chilling. But Sagittarius, this is not the time to chill. This is the time to confront. Because the light you've been waiting for, it doesn't come while you're asleep. It comes when you wake up in the middle of your darkest night and whisper, "I will no longer run." Astrologically, this marks a convergence between Jupiter and the quiet, somber energy of the dark moon. When external light is drawn inward, the mind scrambles to distract itself. But this is also the moment when mindfulness becomes your sharpest sword. In Buddhist teaching, there is a concept called mana, the mistaken belief that you already know, are already okay, or don't need to do anything more. Mana is one of the roots of ignorance. So if during these 3 days, you start hearing yourself say, "I'm tired, I'll pause the spiritual work for a bit," or, "It's okay, I'll come back to this in a few days," please remember, when you say pause, the darkness quietly reaches for your hand. And what's truly frightening is not that you're resting, but that you might fall asleep inside the very loop you were sent here to break. Baba Vanga once warned, there will be a fire sign who believes they are resting, while karma silently returns. Through habit, they will believe they are relaxing. Let me know when you're ready for soul trap number 3, and I'll continue in the same refined format. While destiny quietly slips from their hands, I know you're tired. But exhaustion is not a reason to abandon your path. Maybe you don't need a massive action, but you do need a true one, a mindful breath, a sincere prayer, a journal entry written in silence, a single sit with no music, no phone, no noise, just you and the fire within, being reminded, do not fall asleep while the universe is calling your name. Sagittarius, I invite you, within these 3 days, to try 24 hours without unconscious entertainment. No TikTok. No binge watching. No out-of-sync snacking. Instead, just give 15 minutes each night to sit quietly by candlelight or moonlight. Place your hand over your chest and whisper, "I do not run. I return. I will not delay my light." And if something is already stirring in your heart, mark it now with a sacred declaration in the comments below. I do not escape. I rise through discomfort. Let the universe witness your choice. Let your soul remember, I'm done crawling back to the cozy illusion. I've stepped into my own fire. If this message is waking you up from the illusion of comfort, click like, share it with someone who may be asleep in the middle of their soul's greatest exam, and subscribe, so that the next signal from the universe never misses you again. You were not born to run. You were born to turn chaos into clarity. And light only appears when you dare to stand still in the dark without putting out your fire. Soul trap number 3, the inner voice of doubt. Within Sagittarius, there is a trap that doesn't need anyone to knock. It walks in on its own. It doesn't wear the face of someone from your past. It doesn't disguise itself as rest. It doesn't need any external signal to function, because it lives right inside you. It is a small voice, so small but endlessly persistent, a whisper you've heard so often you mistake it as your own. Am I really enough? Is this truly the right time? What if I'm just imagining it all? And that is the third trap, self-doubt. No one else takes you down. You take yourself down, not with knives, not with fire, but with one small question, just strong enough to make you hesitate at the very threshold of your destiny. And the saddest part is, you've done this more often than you realize. From May 28th to May 30th, when the energies of the dark moon collide with the expansive frequency of Jupiter, one thing will happen. Your mind will be brought back into a state of redecoding everything you once believed. And if you're not awake enough, you'll start listening to the old voices programmed into you since childhood. Don't dream too big. People like me never really succeed. I should probably just be content with what I have. But Sagittarius, you are the one who aims your arrow toward the horizon. Your soul was not designed to repeat the limitations others gave you. You did not come here to live a life that's reasonable. You came here to open a path no one else has walked. So why, when you are so close to that very threshold, would you let one old voice pull you backward? In astrology, Jupiter is not just the planet of expansion. It is the planet of faith. And when your faith trembles, that's the signal your soul is stepping into a higher level. But with every new level, there is always a gatekeeper, and that gatekeeper is you. Not the you of today, but the past version of you who still believes you're not worthy, not ready, not enough. In Buddhism, there is a specific spiritual obstacle called doubt hindrance. It doesn't just cause hesitation. It dims the light of your wisdom entirely. When you doubt yourself, you shut the door the universe is trying to open for you, not because the universe has stopped offering, but because you've stopped reaching. And the cruel irony is, the closer you get to what you've always wanted, the louder the voice of doubt becomes. Because darkness always screams the loudest right before it gets swallowed by the light. Sagittarius, I invite you to do one small yet deeply necessary thing during these 3 days. Every time that voice of doubt appears, don't argue with it. Don't fight it. Simply look it in the eye and say, "Thank you, but I no longer believe you." Then, place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and repeat slowly 3 times, "I am the chosen one. I did not come here to doubt my soul." If you feel something stirring inside you as you read this, please leave a comment now. I silence the voice of doubt. I rise with faith. The universe will hear it, but more importantly, you will remember, I chose faith over fear when my soul needed me the most. Baba Vanga once said the greatest enemy of the soul is not the darkness outside, but the soft whisper that makes you stop believing in the light within. And if you've been waiting for confirmation from the universe, then know this now, your soul is already ready. The only question is, are you? Sagittarius, you do not need anyone else to validate your worth. You just need to believe. You just need to continue. You just need to not stop, just because an old voice shows up the moment you're about to step into your new light. If this video is touching a truth you were once afraid to say aloud, please like it. Share it with a soul that may be silently doubting themselves. And subscribe now as your sacred vow to the universe. I no longer doubt myself. I am ready. I choose the light. And let me say it one last time, there is no shame in the fact that you once doubted yourself. But it would be the deepest loss if you let that voice steal the life your soul has waited for across lifetimes. The soul ritual to break through the 3 spiritual traps of Sagittarius. If you've listened and walked silently through the 3 soul traps, if you've seen someone from the past reappear, felt the urge to run, heard the voice of doubt whisper within, and still chose to stay, then know this, your soul is ready. But to truly step into a new timeline, awareness alone is not enough. You must act. Not with loud outward action, but through sacred inner ritual, where through your presence alone, you sever old cords, protect your inner light, and vow to the universe that you will no longer step back. Sagittarius, the final 3 nights of May are not just days. They are 3 energy gateways. 3 sacred stops where you can remap your soul compass, reconcile with the parts of yourself you once abandoned, and recharge your light weapons before releasing your next arrow into the future. In astrology, this is when Jupiter crosses the threshold between past and future. In Buddhism, this is the time of meditative breakdown and rebirth, when illusions collapse and wisdom begins to rise. But only if you are fully present. So if you can, prepare your space in deep stillness. Turn off the lights. Light a single candle beside you, and read the next lines not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Night of May 28th, purification bath with white salt and red candlelight. On this first night, as the moon's energy hits its lowest point and Jupiter is amplified by the Chiron axis, step into a cleansing ritual, not just to clean the body, but to shed energetic residue. Prepare a bowl or basin of warm water. Add a handful of white salt. You may also add slices of fresh ginger or drops of orange essential oil, something to awaken your soul fire. Place a red candle in front of you, the color of willpower, the color of your true Sagittarius essence. When the water is ready, place your right hand over your heart, your left over your lower belly. Inhale deeply, and exhale. Then slowly scoop water with your hands and sprinkle it over your shoulders, as if you are washing away everything that no longer belongs to you. With each breath, whisper, I release all energies that are not mine. I cleanse this body so my light can return. After the ritual, dry yourself with a white towel. Place an obsidian or lapis lazuli stone under your pillow before you sleep. Softly whisper, I am protected. I do not dream in repetition. I only dream what is worthy. Night of May 29th, letter to the past and meditation under the moon or gentle light. On the second night, when the moon begins to regain light, past energy rises. This is the time to write a letter to your former self, the one who tolerated too much, who got lost, who didn't dare to say no, who endured to be loved. Write by hand. No edits. No pretty words. Only truth. Once the letter is complete, fold it. Look up at the moon, or if the moon is not visible, light a warm golden lamp and sit in silence. Place the letter at your heart. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Repeat 3 times, I see you. I understand you. But I'm no longer you. I live forward, not to forget you, but to lead you out. Complete the ritual by burning the letter in a small clay bowl. Watch the flame. No fear. No regret. Just know, all that needed to be released has now been returned to the universe. Night of May 30th, activate the arrow of light, the soul's vow. The final night, when the moon reaches its energetic peak, is the time to release a new arrow of light. Sit on the floor. Keep your spine straight. Press your palms together in front of your chest, like your own divine bow. Close your eyes. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Repeat 3 times. Then open your eyes. Extend your right hand forward, as if pulling back an invisible bowstring. In this position, speak firmly and clearly, I am Sagittarius. I do not repeat lessons. I do not wait for another sign. I am the sign. I am the one rewriting my destiny. Visualize yourself releasing the arrow of light, flying through darkness, through the old version of yourself, through the voice of doubt, shooting forward into June like a blazing comet that cannot be stopped. Complete the ritual with one final act, light a single white candle and let it burn until it extinguishes on its own. When the flame goes out, that is the sign the ritual is complete, and your soul has officially entered a new cycle. If you've completed even one of these rituals, please leave a comment below as a soul mark to the universe. I completed the ritual. I am ready to receive. If the energy of this video is helping you walk out of the darkness with quiet strength, please like, subscribe so you don't miss future rituals, and share this video as an offering of light to someone who may be standing at their own crossroads in silence. Sagittarius, your soul was never designed to live in ambiguity. Your soul is an arrow, and these 3 nights are the 3 sacred pools of your bow. From tomorrow onward, the light will lead the way. You only need to keep your grip steady, and never look back. And now, when the 3 traps have revealed themselves, when the rituals have opened like gateways between 2 worlds, when your soul has walked through the darkest corners of doubt, longing, and escape, only one question remains, echoing through the space. Sagittarius, will you keep going, or will you turn back? Because the moment you step out of this video, you are no longer the same person. No longer the one who lives in the assumption of maybe. No longer the one who keeps waiting for an external sign to validate their inner worth. No longer the one who uses freedom to run instead of to confront. No longer the one who forces strength while quietly falling apart inside. Everything you just heard is not a prediction, it is a summoning. The last 3 nights of May are not dates on a calendar. They are a sacred current, drawn from the moment you were born, when Jupiter placed its hand upon your soul and said, this child was not born to bow. But even a chosen soul can collapse if it forgets who it is. That is why the universe brings you back to old traps, not to punish you, but so you can choose again, not from emotion, but from consciousness. And you have already chosen. When you sat still. When you read this far. When you performed the ritual. When you dared to write, I will not repeat karma. That is no longer just a sentence. It is an energetic imprint you've planted in the foundation of your own soul. Sagittarius, you have endured enough. You have forgiven to the point of losing yourself. You have run so far you forgot what you truly desire. You have dreamed so deeply you lost sight of the ground. And now, it's time to come back to yourself, but not the version that was once wounded. The version that now has the courage to look at the wound and call it by its name, light. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a concept that says transforming karma is not about erasing it, but facing it without flinching, without avoiding, and walking straight through it like a flame. And you, Sagittarius, you are that flame. You no longer need anyone's permission to move forward. You don't need anyone to understand the past you've lived, because only you are the one who lay awake in the middle of the night, trembling and praying for one chance to live aligned with what your soul has always known to be true. And these 3 days, these rituals, these messages, are the response. If these words make your chest tighten, as if something inside is rising, maybe even crying, not from pain, but from finally being seen, then please do one sacred thing for yourself in this moment. Leave a comment below, I have passed the test. I claim my divine path. Not for anyone else to read, but for the universe to witness, and for you, 1 year from now, 10 years from now, to return and remember, I didn't give up. I was brave. I chose light even when my hands were still shaking. If you feel that this video is the ritual your soul has been waiting for, then please click like as a way of activating agreement with your truest self. Subscribe now, not just to receive more videos, but to send a signal to the universe that, I'm ready to receive more. And share this video with someone you care about, a soul that may be stepping into their own darkness, because sometimes, one video can save a destiny. Sagittarius, you have come too far to turn back. You have loved too much to live pretending. You have learned too much to return to the same lesson. And now, you stand at the intersection between old and new, between darkness and truth, between doubt and faith. Do not stop. Do not go back. Do not settle. Baba Vanga once said, when a Sagittarius soul chooses not to turn back, the entire sky must open a path for them. And I believe. I feel. I know, that the one reading these words is that soul. So stand up. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. And whisper slowly, with certainty, I am Sagittarius. I don't wait for miracles. I am the miracle. Welcome to June, the month of rebirth. Welcome to yourself.